तू सारे जहां से प्यारी मेरे भारत की बेटी है, सारे जहां पे तू सारे जहां से प्यारी मेरे भारत की बेटी है, सारे जहां पे भारी मेरे भारत की बेटी। शाबाशिया 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 की बेटी दिल जान है शान हमारी मेरे भारत की।
Hello friends, I'm so delighted to introduce you to a person who has been very versatile and unstoppable. Please welcome here today with me a wonderfully accomplished lady, ex-squadron leader of the Indian Air Force, who has been mountaineering and has 26 mountaineering expeditions on her card, and the first Indian Asian woman to have climbed the Mount, the volcanic mountain in Iran. Her profile is absolutely awe-inspiring because she's an educator, assistant professor in history, and it does not stop there. She has 7 publications, and the latest 2 of them are A Wildflower and The Song of a Sky. We are so proud to have here with us Bharat ki beti, ex-squadron leader, Dr. Toolika Rani from Uttar Pradesh. Welcome, ma'am. It's such a privilege to have you here, an honor to be able to know you personally and talk to you. I would like to begin with your mountaineering experiences, and my first question is, what were the differences in climbing Mount Everest, and how were the challenges different in climbing the volcanic mountain, the Mount in Iran?
Thank you so much. My warm greetings to all the people who are listening to us today. Now coming to the question, the differences, I think every mountain is different. So if we talk about Mount Everest, it is the highest, and the altitude itself is a challenge. Plus, you need immense physical as well as mental fitness to climb Mount Everest. And of course, the snow conditions are really terrible. The wind makes it extremely difficult to climb, and you have to be so fit that your body is able to cope with the altitude. And altitude plays havoc with your physiology over there. So we know it's coming from the science background. Now, if we talk about the volcano, the terrain is entirely different. So where I had the pleasure to go to Iran in 2015. It has the highest volcano of Asia, Mount Tabawand, and I had the huge honor to be the sole Indian representative there. The most difficult thing, or the most challenging thing I would say, was there was a huge altitude gain in very short period, number one. And when we reached near the summit of the volcano, there was sulfur coming out of the earth. So as such, as you go high to the altitude, it is difficult to breathe because of the pressure being low. Now imagine sulfur also being added into the air, so it is even much more difficult to breathe there. And then you're climbing. You're just not walking, you're climbing to an altitude with some sort of load also on your back. So that made it much more interesting, I would say. And I loved it. I loved it because I love challenges. On Everest, yes, there are different sort of challenges. A lot of snow, extremely high wind, extremely high altitude. volcanoes are different, but I have done 26 mountaineering and tracking expeditions around the world. 2 in Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro also I climbed in 2016.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My latest climb was in 2022, the highest mountain of Uganda, Mount Sanghvi. I have been to Nepal, I have been to Bhutan also. So all these experiences are very novel for me. Each experience is unique, each mountain, even though you have climbed the highest mountain in the world, when I stand in front of a mountain, I feel like a beginner again. Because you never know what challenges the mountain throws at you. And you have to be extremely ready, prepared to face them. That's the beauty of it.
Tell us more about Mount Kilimanjaro and how did that happen?
I went there in February 2016 and it was a wonderful climb because the vegetation there is entirely different. When you go to Africa, you find you have stepped into another world altogether. In Himalayas, we do not find that sort of vegetation as we find in Africa. So I would suggest everybody to at least go there once, if you can't go there many times, and experience it. Kilimanjaro is closer to 20,000 feet, close to 6,000 feet, slightly less than that. And again, in very short period, you have to gain a lot of altitude. That makes it challenging. But since the previous month I had been to the base camp of Mount Annapurna in Nepal, so it wasn't that difficult for me because my body was already acclimatized. So I have good experiences of Kilimanjaro. In fact, after 2016, when I climbed Kili, to 2022, when I went there again to Uganda, 22, I had the same guide. So that kind of a rapport with people. I always make sure that I don't see the mountains only as a physical, geographical entity. I see them as an entire ecosystem. So whenever I go to climb a mountain anywhere in the world, I make sure that I do interact with the people there. I'm little acquainted with the culture over there, the vegetation, and how people live in consonance with the nature. So that's my holistic attitude towards the mountains.
What unites your diverse passions and what comes to poetry from all your experiences?
Well, I would like to show this book here. The Mountain Was a Buzz.
Yes.
It is a collection of poems on various aspects of the Himalayas. So if I have to distill everything that I have learned from mountaineering or from the mountains, specifically Himalayas, this book would represent that. It has poems from 73 poets from around the world, and they have written on various aspects of the Himalayas. The people, the culture, the geographical terrain, the rivers, the glaciers, the wind, the spirituality that Himalayas represent.
The experiences that
Yes.
are ethereal.
Yes. The peace, why people like me call the Himalayas the home. I wasn't born in the Himalayas, but I am so much in love with them.
It becomes your abode.
Yes, it is my abode. So even if I'm living in the plains, I think my soul is always roaming in the mountains, in the Himalayas for that matter. So this book was a culmination of whatever the Himalayas embody for me. And in the call for submissions, I had categorically asked people to write on diverse aspects, ranging from everything to everything that means the Himalayas for them. There is another book which I would like to share here. This one. Now the lessons that I learned from my climbing experience to Mount Everest are there in this book. I won't overpraise it, but it would be right if I say that beyond that wall, redemption on Everest. Beyond that wall, redemption on Everest. I gave a title symbolizing every wall that human beings may have within themselves. In order to be able to climb even the highest mountain or to achieve any goal that feels like a wall, a gigantic, big, huge mountain. Every goal seems like this in the beginning. But in order to be able to attain that goal, what all do we need is written in this book. You need to have a tremendous amount of persistence, faith in yourself, an ability also perhaps to not listen to the people who are naysayers, and to be able to rise up every time that you fall. Because
So challenges and overcoming them should be the goal of success.
Definitely, definitely. That is how every mountain, every Everest is climbable. It might be in the field of journalism, it might be in the field of making a painting, or even writing a poem. Isn't writing a poem it feels like giving birth. It feels like you're coming back alive from being dead. Now, this is how I feel.
Because your sensitivities are flowing into your words.
Yes, yes. Because you're trying to find the correct words, you're trying to imagine articulating that idea, which is right like a seed in your mind, and you have to express it in the words. This process itself is I think sometimes excruciating, but so rewarding. It is same as climbing a mountain.
Did you feel at any point of time that you have to now take up conservation of ecosystems to the masses? Because I know that you have been a G20 ambassador for Uttar Pradesh, and you have significantly contributed. Like, I can see hundreds of awards and recognitions and honors for what you have done, coming back from the Himalayas, from the expeditions, going to poetry as a spiritual experience and as a humanitarian work. What now? What next about ensuring that we do not destroy the ecosystems which we are so familiar with and which in fact balance Mother Earth?
Yes.
Please tell us more about those plans that you have in the future.
Yes, definitely. That is the most wonderful question, I would say. Because when there is a stage when we are taking from nature, and there must come a stage when we are giving it back to the world, magnified. So I'm at that stage in my life. Everybody has a gift, particular gift, given by the Lord. And I feel that my gift is my words. So through my spoken words as well as my written words, number one, I'm trying to create awareness about the ecosystem conservation in the Himalayas specifically. And I'm trying to percolate this idea, this knowledge, this realization in people that everything is interconnected. Even if we live in the plains, we should always realize and remember that the water we drink is coming from the Himalayas, from the mountains. So it can't be so that you go as a tourist to the Himalayan spots, the cities, the hill stations, and litter over there, and you will not be affected. It cannot be so. Whatever is projected into this world,
it all comes back
to
us.
So water has a cycle, the wind, the air has a cycle, and we need to understand that we are a part of this cycle. So we will be affected by our actions sooner or later. So this awareness I try to generate in people, because this is the root, I suppose, of all the actions. You cannot impose. Yes, certain laws have to be made, and certain things have to be imposed upon the people.
But the civic sense should be from within.
Yes. So there is no substitute to that. So number one, I try to do this. Number two, yes, I'm writing and I'm speaking on these subjects elaborately, eloquently everywhere in the universities, on their platforms. I have spoken twice on TEDx also. So as the G20 brand ambassador of Uttar Pradesh government, Higher Education Department, I had spoken on these subjects as to what was India's vision on environment also during the G20 presidency, and what can youth do about it, what role can women play in realizing that vision. Apart from that, I was recently having a talk with one of the IIT professors, and since they go to the glaciers and do research, I might collaborate with them in the future to to associate with them on their research. While they do geographical research, geological point of view, I may try to go and talk to the people and fill in those gaps of societal and humanistic point of view in the research. Because any geographical data also we collect in order to benefit the humanity. So this will be holistic kind of a work that I'm trying to do. So it may materialize in the future.
Coming a little bit to personal experiences, when you're at this summit, when you actually have finished your last step and you're standing, whatever mountain it is, what's your first thought?
Right. So first I will give you this very practical answer, and then after this spiritual one.
Sure, go ahead, please.
Yes. Because whenever we are in the process of achieving something, it takes a lot from us. Rather, it takes everything that we have within us, physically, emotionally, psychologically, and only then you are able to achieve something. It is always taxing. So once the goal is attained, number one feeling is of relief.
I'm here.
Yes, now it is done. Number two is gratitude. Because without the grace of God, you cannot achieve anything. And also, without the people who have supported us, we cannot achieve anything. Human beings don't live on an island. We live as an interconnected community, and therefore gratitude is a must. We must express, our gratitude to the people who have been supportive to us in whatever way, small or big. This is what I always do, and I wrote a book on the Sherpas of Solukhumbu.
Yes.
Solukhumbu is a district at the base of Mount Everest.
Okay.
And these are the people, the Sherpas, who live at the base of Mount Everest, and they are instrumental in mountaineering expeditions on Mount Everest. So this picture also that you see on this cover of the book, he is my Sherpa who had climbed with me in 2012 to the top of Mount Everest, Mountaineering. I'm extremely grateful to him. I have met him several times after that too. I stayed with him rather while I was researching for my PhD on the Sherpas of Nepal.
And certainly it's a lifelong connection, because
Yes.
we connect with all the humanity wherever they are in such isolated mountains.
Yes, I would like to research more on the hill communities. This is my area of interest, since now I'm an assistant professor of history. I'm a mountaineer too, so I can climb and I can
Meet,
interview these people. This is what I did
and
for
right
this book.
in their regional context
Yes.
where they are.
Yes. So I would also like to do comparative research between various hill communities living at the base of specific mountains.
And what challenges they
Yes.
face.
Yes. What similarity, what challenges they face, their aspirations, and whenever we talk about conservation, their views are more important than ours. Because they are the people
Certainly,
living there.
absolutely.
And
They
have
know more about it by daily living.
Yes, they have the traditional knowledge of surviving and living in harmony. with
And
the
it's
ecosystem.
priceless, invaluable knowledge that they carry. It's the human mind which has overcome so many challenges day in and out because they're living there.
Yes,
It's the native.
yes, yes.
Yeah. And spiritually,
Spiritually,
when you reach the summit.
when I reach the summit, I always thank God, because I do feel that Himalayas are the abode of God for us. And like Indian philosophy, we do take it like that. And also, God supervises every aspect of our life. So I
Absolutely.
express because on the way to Mount Everest, also to its summit, I saw dead people on the way. And there are so many accidents that happen in the mountain. Mountain climbing is a risky affair.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I always thank God whenever I'm there, and I always feel that I am such a tiny part of this entire universe. You feel you're so tiny. All this ego that we carry as human beings evaporates in the air. So it is not an achievement, it is survival, I suppose. So much of gratitude fills me when I'm on the top of any mountain. And this, fitting yourself in the exact place where you belong to in the entire system of the universe. Otherwise, what is happening nowadays? We are overexploiting the nature, and humankind has thought that the nature exists for themselves. No, it
Greed
is not.
and selfish motives.
Yes. Yes.
Just destroying nature for our means has
Yes.
resulted in the present global
Yes.
climate.
On the mountains, we realize that wind can throw you off the
In a
slope of a
minute.
mountain. So wind is more powerful. Water, an avalanche, snow can bury you, and there will be no trace of you found
So it's
anywhere.
a very humbling,
Humbling
experience where
experience.
you understand vulnerability
Yes.
of the moment of being human.
Vulnerability and also the right place of mankind, I suppose,
Yeah.
in this entire universe. I'm totally against the idea of nature existing for people, human beings. We are just one part of entire nature. So we have to live in harmony with the other creatures on this planet. The one, one life
Absolutely.
approach.
Yeah.
The one life approach.
All
has to be there.
living beings
Yes.
make this planet
Yes.
what it is.
Yes, so we are not the masters. We're just
Absolutely.
one creature.
Yeah. And the more we care about other creatures, including the flora and fauna, the better our planet
it
will
is.
become.
Yes.
It was just absolutely wonderful to have her for a short conversation with us. I'm sure this is not my first and last conversation with Squadron leader Toolika Rani. I'm sure for every book we are surely going to have a series coming up whenever I have the opportunity. I think for all my students out there, perseverance, focus and dreams come true only with hard work,
Yes.
hard work, hard work. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's